has been paid for by the New World Order.
Oh, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. People are wondering who's going to be next. Don't call us, we'll call you. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? It is PJ North, and we are back at Around the Mat Pod. I've got a big week, man. I'm super pumped to do that this week. We've got a lot of cool stuff going on. Before we do that, though, big shout out to last week, Cody Chows and Freddie Fresh, who joined us, man. Had our biggest episode to date. Thank you guys so much. If you have watched it, if you're joining us and doing all the things, thank you so much. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. It's super easy. Even if you don't want to see me, just hit that like and subscribe button for my own personal gain. And then, if you're watching on Twitch, thank you for joining us this week. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, thank you. Again, man, I really appreciate everybody joining us. It's been crazy. This is episode number 13. Lucky episode number 13, I might add you. And I've got some friends. We're going to do something a little different this week. But let me introduce you to some homies. In the bottom right is, of course, the Ticket God Freddie Fresh. Freddie, what's going on, baby?
What's happening? What's good? Good to be back on
Hell
the pod.
Yeah. I love that.
Excited for the show today.
I can't wait. And in the bottom left, they call him Young Juice Springsteen. He is the boss of Juicy Wrestling Closet. He is the WCW pay-per-view t-shirt guy. Juice Springsteen. Dan, what's up, baby? How are you, man?
What's going on, brother? It's wild actually being here because of the random interaction we had in line for a pop-up.
That's the beauty of wrestling. That's the beauty of communities and all of this, man. It's crazy to think about. The same way we met Cody we happened to park next to him, right? It's the same reason I met Miguel in our group chat, which is how I met Fred, was through a random interaction at another thing. And it's just kind of crazy how that all works out. So the long story short for me and Juice was I went to the wrestling pop-up. I was late. He was the last person in line. I got in line behind him. We connected. We collabed. We chatted. We talked all things wrestling, sneakers, T-shirts, all things good. And, yeah, look, man, I even wore this for you this week here. The WCW. Yeah. You know, I wanted to mix it up a little bit. I wear a different wrestling tee every show. A lot of people know that. Also, because it's a special episode, and we'll get to that, but I thought you would appreciate this. A young Jerry Seinfeld Lego. I'm a huge Seinfeld guy. I've got the Seinfeld Legos. I'm a big fan. I've been a fan since way back in the day. Collected all the stuff. Have the scripts, the books, all the stuff. Right, big Seinfeld guy. I've seen him in concert a handful of times. So I thought that we would connect over that on Seinfeld. You know,
dude, hell yeah! I got the Lego set as well. I'm a huge fan, and I've got plenty of memorabilia as well. At some point. Separately than this, we're gonna have to talk Seinfeld too.
We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to. I love that. And I saw you post the other day, which I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna show him this. Fred, are you a Seinfeld guy at all, man? You're from Jersey, so I feel like
I've watched it and I enjoy it, but not like to that extent where I've seen every episode and like in order or anything.
I've seen every episode probably
or have
12
Legos
times. My mom bought me that, man, and she bought me the Lego set. I thought that was so cool. Cool. But this is the only piece I've gotten together so far. So shout out to it's not Fusilli Jerry, but it is Lego Jerry.
No,
so.
It's not. No.
Well, with that being said, man, we're getting into it this week. We got something different. It is NFL draft weekend, it is WWE draft weekend, and it is now Around the Mat Draft Day edition. We're mixing it up. As I meant, everybody knows I love the production side of this thing, so I've added a few new screens here. I've changed it a little bit over here to the left so you guys can see all the cool stuff, right? I'm adding to it constantly. We're still going to do points. We got a few things, so I wanted to get the stuff out of the way early and start with hello.
Hello! Hello there! Hello! Hello! Hello!
Uncle Leo? See? I thought I would add that. But wow. I wanted to kind of kick it off. And we're not going to talk about anything that happened, but we are going to go around quickly and just chat about what everybody's thoughts are wrestling right now, where we are. Freddie, I'm going to let you kick it off, man. Just in general, in the last week, what are your thoughts on all the things that have transpired in wrestling, and what are your thoughts going into for the next week as we speak?
It's been another crazy week. Never stops, right? AEW had their pay-per-view on Sunday, Dynasty. I thought it was a pretty good show. I will say, regardless of how I feel about their weekly TV show, their pay-per-views usually do hit. And
yeah, it's unbelievable.
I thought that, obviously Ospreay and Bryan was amazing. The finish scared me. It was a little uncomfortable, but I think it was a work, obviously, but it was,
I thought the same thing, but he did such a good job, right?
Yeah, it was well done. And I'm happy Swerve won the title. I thought that was well
Finally,
done.
man. I mentioned that last week, right? Like, if they don't put it on him, then it's like, what are we even doing anymore, right? You talk about missed opportunities. I thought that was great. I love the Kobe picture that he did, too. I thought that was a really cool callback. He does a lot of cool call-outs, man. He does a lot of cool stuff like that, which I always think I just think creative-wise, he is really, really creative. One of the great minds.
He's very in tune with everything.
What's your thoughts on WWE right now? Anything? I mean, last week, right? Like we talked about, Raw kind of phoned it in, right? Because we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, after, the European tour and Cody obviously not on the show. I did enjoy the stuff that Damian Priest did.
I did too. I thought that's cool. I think they're doing a great job continuing to move the stories, right? Which is good.
And as far as Becky Lynch, that's probably the biggest story of the show. Becky Lynch won the women's championship, which I know a lot of people were not happy about.
I just don't. I mean, like I said, I get why they did it because you need that star power, and I don't know if the other people were ready, but I just think, I don't know.
I do think Liv. I think Liv is going to be chasing Becky, and I think I do think eventually it will end up on Liv, and I think Liv will have it when Rhea comes back.
And they got to do that quickly, right? Because Rhea comes back in like 3 or 4 months at this. Well, I guess it'd be 4 months, right? At this point.
Yeah, she's not supposed to be out that long. But and now they're saying Jimmy Uso is hurt. We don't know to what extent.
Right. Which, like I mentioned in the chat too, I said is like as long as I'm getting Jimmy on TV, that's all I really like. I don't need him wrestling.
He doesn't
right?
need to wrestle, but he needs. You know what? The timing of it
is perfect because he got the headshot with the chair.
Right,
the whole
exactly.
Right.
So I hope it doesn't delay where they're going.
Right.
Too much. But yeah.
Well, luckily there's like 27 cousins that wrestle, so they can just kind of fill in at this point.
Somebody will fill in the spot. Another Samoan fill in the spot. There you go. Ticket God Freddie coming. So we'll.
Amazing. What about you, Juice Man? Did you catch AEW's Dynasty? Did you watch it live?
Sure did. I much like you guys, how you were saying, the TV could be hit or miss. They might get 600,000 viewers this past week, which they did.
Right.
But every single pay-per-view, man, it's unbelievable. Like, they always have the best in-ring. Man, Freddie, you said it. I was kind of nervous during the entire Danielson match. Like, he wants to do this final run of, I'm gonna wrestle with whoever, but he's really like putting his body on the line. I feel like more than he ever has before.
Oh yeah,
because he knows this is going to be his final run, and doesn't really care.
He's got the past of injuries. He's just
he knows his body though. I think I trust him. Will Ospreay though, for a guy that I consider myself a guy who really not has the touch of the pulse of the wrestling world, but I knew about Ospreay for a while, and people praised him in New Japan, and I'm like, okay. But I want to see, much like Kenny Omega, let me see you week to week. Let me see.
Yeah, can you translate to a weekly TV show, right?
Yes, and he has been unbelielievable. The Bruv is over.
We talked about that a lot. Yeah, his music, his entrance is actually done by a super. They were like a popular pop punk band, which is really cool because it fit the way they did that whole. It's like very Kingdom, downstate thing.
Yeah.
But I thought he's done a great job too, right? He can talk.
Yeah,
better than you expected, right? Because he's never had to do that,
right? And for an audience that is, if you just want to say primarily North American, the international stars don't have the easiest time,
right?
And he is somehow translated to where everybody's pretty much in love with him,
right?
And I'm looking forward to just each week him getting better and better. Flip to WWE real quick. I was at SmackDown this past.
I saw that. Yeah, it was in Pittsburgh, right? Last Friday.
Cool. Absolutely, and I loved it. I love SmackDown.
Awesome.
2 hours is
it's perfect, right? Yeah, it's like
perfect.
Yep.
I'm really hoping Raw goes back to 2.
If SmackDown had the storylines that Raw has right now,
right,
it would be unmatched, right? Because everyone's like, this is the perfect amount of.
They did with the Bloodline, but
of
now
course,
it's kind of
obviously
pushed.
Yeah,
but last quick thing, Freddie, it's the first time I'm meeting you, but damn it, if you're not a doppelganger of LA Knight, I don't know what the hell's going on.
You know how many people I've gotten that a few times. That's funny. I'll take it. I've gotten it. Yeah. But that's funny. You're not the first person to tell me that, so I'll take it though.
You know what you should do, Fred? What we'll do next time is we'll have you cut a Stone Cold promo but if you were LA Knight as Stone Cold. So you have to do LA Knight's voice. Or no, you have to do Stone Cold's voice, but do an LA Knight
promo.
Because that's really Freddie. That's really Freddie's.
That's
really Freddie's go-to. Let me just hear one thing, Freddie. Just do one sprinkle of Stone Cold real quick for us.
God damn, you little sorry son of a bitch! I will whoop your ass from that side of the ring to the other, and that's the bottom line. 'Cause Stone Cold said so.
Yeah, that was great. I love it. So yeah, big Freddie Stone Cold guy.
Last quick thing. So yeah, LA Knight didn't get the win on SmackDown, and
obviously, right? You're not gonna have two baby faces fight at the first pay-per-view, right?
And LA Knight got his win, the bigger win, arguably at WrestleMania. So AJ get in the match, and now we get the Bullet Club guys going at it one-on-one.
Yeah,
I think it's the right move, and it's gonna be great. I think these guys could have had a match at any point during Cody's kind of renaissance as outside of WWE until now, like from his indie run till now. So I'm glad that we finally get to see it on a.
It's amazing that they've never touched.
I know.
I can't believe they have.
Right?
Because they intersected Ring of Honor, New Japan, TNA all at separate times. When AJ left TNA, Cody hadn't left WWE yet, right?
Yeah.
So they had not, and then so the indie stuff hadn't crossed. It's amazing.
And you figure, AJ came in at the Rumble in 16. Cody left. I forget. I want to say it was May of 16. It was after WrestleMania 32.
Right, exactly.
I want to say it was around May or June that he left. So, at that point, AJ had been in the company,
4 months. Yeah, 6 months, yeah.
5, whatever. So they only had that short period of time. But even so, it's still amazing. It wasn't a random Raw or SmackDown match, whatever, Stardust versus AJ. But anyway, I'm very looking forward to that match.
I think it'll be good, man. I think there's a lot of stuff going on right now in pro wrestling. It's really great. Last night was cool.
Springsteen and Jay, I think, is going to be cool.
I think so too, man. I think that Jay gets like we've talked about, right? Jay's a great wrestler when he has other great the Jimmy match is whatever, right? Aside from the Jimmy match, like Jay can go when he has other guys who just put on bangers.
I just want to bring up, speaking of the Jimmy and Jay match, we've talked about on the podcast and in the chat about that match was kind of disappointing.
Yeah. I saw he posted about that. He was on a pod and talked about it.
That's what I wanted to ask, see if anybody else saw that.
I did.
He was on Gorilla Position.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, I missed
in
the
the
pod.
UK. Yeah. And what happened was, which happens quite often, unfortunately, is their time got cut. And
because The Rock needed a 27-minute intro.
Well, yeah, right. So
their time got cut on a 2-night show.
Go figure, right?
Wild. That is misproduction by The Rock.
Yeah. Oh, I think I will state this right now. I think Jey Uso is going to win the Royal Rumble in 2025.
Man, that'd be crazy.
Give me Jay and Cody, babyface versus babyface.
I like that.
That could be fun. I don't know if Jay would stay babyface at that point. Maybe he comes back in the bloodline You'd like to see a babyface?
Well, I'd like to see that, but I wouldn't mind Jay turning on Cody.
Yeah.
That would be nuts.
Be kind of fun too, right? There's so many great stories. So many things are happening, man. That's the crazy thing. There's always the lull after WrestleMania because you're building it up. But right now, there's so many good things going on that there's not really a lull. There's a lull in WWE, but so many other things are happening with New Japan and AEW and TNA and a lot of stuff like building up. So like, even though it's not really even a lull in WWE. It's just like you've got to have a come down. It's just like you go to a concert. You can't play. At some point, you're going to have to play a non-number one. It's just you don't have number one hits, right? So it's like sometimes you got to bring them down to bring them back up. Right. And so I'm excited about that too, man. I agree to the point. The Becky thing is whatever. We'll see what happens. This week basically starts over with the WWE draft, and we're going to get into that shortly. Before we do that, we are actually going to go into one of my favorite things here, and it's actually, and you call yourself a fan. So, and you call yourself a fan. The fun thing we're going to do today is we are going into trivia time. The winner is going to get the number one pick in the draft. We are going to do a draft day edition here at Around the Mat Pod. We've got some fun rules. We're going to mix it up a little bit. So with that being said, Juice, I don't know how many times you've watched the pod, but we do every week. We do a trivia question from these trivia, which I know you can't really see, but the point being is you'll be able to see.
I did see that.
So we're going to do trivia, and these are fun questions. Fred was the highlight last week. He was so confidently answering and Bob Backlund, which was maybe the highlight. Dude, it got.
I saw that.
It was unbelievable. It's super popular on the interweb. So shout out to Freddie Fresh. So with that being said, like I said, you get a point for each right answer. And the one with the most right answers at the end of this is going to get the number 1 pick, and we'll go from there. So, with that being said, the first question. At the October 1995 In Your House, who was the king? Bret Hart, Mabel, or Undertaker? Freddie?
Mabel.
Juice.
Can you cut out a little bit? Did you ask who was king?
Yeah, who was king at the October 1995 In Your House? Bret Hart, Mabel, or The Undertaker?
It was the third member of the NWO, King Mabel.
All right, I will also go King Mabel, and we are all correct. So we're each getting 1 point here. We're starting off hot here. All right. At the 1994 Survivor Series, which famously featured Bob Backlund as champion. At the 1994 Survivor Series, what tag team had a falling out? The Head Shrinkers, Owen and Neidhart, Shawn and Diesel. Juice, you get to go first.
Shawn and Diesel.
Fred?
Shawn and Diesel.
I will also go Shawn and Diesel. And that is correct. All right, man, we're really moving. We're making progress here, but we're all even. At the 1990 SummerSlam, who was the guest of Brother Love? Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Sergeant Slaughter, or Roddy Piper? I'll go first. Roddy Piper. Juice.
Oh, man. I have to go Sergeant Slaughter.
Okay. Freddie?
I'm going Hacksaw.
All right. The answer is Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how I missed that one. Great job, Juice.
I only said that because I feel like that was the transition into the Iraqi synthesizer.
That could be it, where he did go into the thing. Okay. All right. At WrestleMania 7, Jake the Snake Roberts battled whom? It is not multiple choice, Freddie, so now's your chance.
Uh-oh.
This is an easy one, though.
7. I'm going to go with Rick the Model Martel.
Okay. Juice?
The model Rick Martel in a blindfold match.
That's right. The model Rick Martel in a blindfold match. Everybody gets a point here. So
it was
far,
a good angle.
Juice, you could get that number 1 pick here if you get this one right. Who defeated Wendy Richter for the Women's Championship in 1985? I'll go first. I'm going to go first and say the Fabulous Moolah. Go ahead, Juice.
That's exact. I'm going to say Moolah.
Okay, Fred?
Who defeated Wendy Richter?
Yeah, who defeated her?
Well, I'm going to say Moolah, but as the Black Scorpion.
Exactly. Yeah, as her name was Spider Lady.
Spider Lady.
That's
Black Scorpion.
That's right.
That's incredible, though. I'm a
huge
WCW guy, so that hits.
All right. Well, we did it, and Juice is going to get the first pick. Freddie, you're going to go second, and I will go third. So we are now into our first round. But before we get there, let me show you guys the draft rules. The rules here at the Around the Mat pod are each person gets 1 pick per round. There are 12 rounds, 15 seconds per pick, plus the why. You know, why you picked that person. Number 4, individuals keep their titles. Number 5, tag teams are 1 pick. Number 6, anyone from WWE and NXT is eligible. Number 7, you get 1 legend pick. Number 8, you get 1 Forbidden Door pick. And number 9, women picks get 2 picks, meaning if you pick Rhea, you get to pick another at the same time. Those are the rules here at the draft day edition of Around the Mat. And I've even got this handy-dandy board. Look at this. Boom. Draft
Look at that
board. Fred, PJ, Juice. So I'll share the photo afterwards, but this is the pick. So let me put some time on the board here, Juice.
Can I see that rules again real quick?
Yeah.
Be nice to. Okay. And what? So just anyone from WWE or
Anybody
NXT.
from WWE or NXT, or you can use your first pick on a Forbidden Door pick if you want. Forbidden Door, of course, is AEW, New Japan.
Okay. And then Legend has to be alive.
No, they don't have to be alive.
Oh my God. Okay.
So you get anybody at that point. So, all right, guys, here we go. The big board, and let me put 15 seconds on the board. Your time starts now, Juice.
Wow. With the first overall pick, it's a tough one, but with all the factors in play and legends are allowed to happen, I'm going to go with the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Wow. All right.
Wow.
So his legends pick is over. All right, Freddie Fresh.
All right.
Your pick.
All right. So my first pick is going to be our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And the reason I picked him, I don't think I need to give a reason for that. He's the tribal chief. He's the biggest star in the entire wrestling world.
Yeah, nothing like picking a guy who shows up to work once every couple weeks.
Listen, it's less time I got to worry about booking him.
That's the problem.
Creative.
That's the problem. All right, well, everyone knows my first pick. I'm picking the WWE champion, Cody Rhodes.
Good pick.
It's a solid pick.
And obviously, I'm picking him because he's a champion, so we're getting a belt on our show. I don't know if anybody thought about that, but we're getting a belt. So I picked Cody. All right, Juice. Let me move my highlighter down because now we're in the second round. So we've got 12 rounds. We're gonna go. It's gonna be fast paced, but please tell me your why. Don't worry about the timer. As long as you make a pick before 15 seconds, that's all I care about.
That's right. So
let's hear it, Juice.
You wanted to talk about titles, and I don't think you necessarily have to draft a champion to have a champion. So I'm going to have a tournament for the champion, and in the finals, it will be Shawn Michaels taking on Bruv Will Ospreay.
All right.
Is my pick.
I'm going with his Forbidden Door. I like it.
Wow. So far, he's already gotten rid of his Forbidden Door and his Legends deal. I love it. All right. Freddie Fresh, who you got?
All right. For my next pick, I am going to go with Jey Uso. And the reason I'm picking him is got some plans maybe for him in store with the Tribal Chief down the road. And I think Jey is a future main event. I mean, he's already main event Jey Uso, rather, obviously. But a future bona fide main eventer.
All right, so Fred is rebooking Hawaii if they were still a company.
That's right, the Polynesian Pro Wrestling.
All right. Man, you know what's funny is I really only thought to my first pick. I didn't think about it after that. But I am going to go with my second pick. I am going to go the Ring General, Gunther.
Oh. Wow.
I think I spelled his name wrong, but whatever, it be like that sometimes.
I hope your legend pick is. We'll get there. But I'll tell you who it should be, but I'm not going to give that away. I already made my pick.
Who you got, Juice? Your pick.
Oh boy. Quick. So you say the legends. What is the criteria there? Like
they just have to be. They just have to be. They're just not active anymore.
What does active mean? Because I could.
You know what I'm saying. Active means.
Okay, fine. I won't pick anybody else from the bloodline.
You can't pick The Rock. You could pick High Chief Peter Maivia or Rocky Johnson if you wanted.
No, I can't. They're legends. I can't do it anymore.
Oh yeah, you're out of legends. That's right. Yeah,
I know. That's why that was the loophole.
The Rock technically counts. If you want The Rock, you can pick him because he was active.
You guys can have him.
I don't want him.
I am going to select Damian Priest.
All right. So he's got a title finally.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. Okay, Freddie Fresh. Your pick, my
man.
man.
You may not want him, PJ, but I damn sure do. My next pick is the final boss, the People's Champ, The Rock.
Dude, you're not going to be able to you're going to be TNA. You're going to have to record multiple episodes in 1 week because these guys ain't showing up to work multiple times. Jay going to be there by himself.
Yeah.
All right. If I'm picking,
was that my Legends pick or no? Have we?
No. That one counts. He was active. Okay. He was active. I'll give you that one.
Glad I asked.
Think about like Legends deal, right? If they show up in a video game and they're passed away, that counts as a legend kind of thing. That concept. So for myself, I am going to pick the Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair.
Pretty good.
You know, this is a lot harder than I thought to hold this board up the whole time. All right. Juice, back around to you, buddy. Who you got? Number 4.
Oh, man. So I think you guys are catching on to what type of matches I'm looking for. So as long as he's healthy and doesn't have a bum knee, Seth freaking Rollins.
That's a good one. All right. That's a good pick. I like that one. Freddie Fresh, on you, buddy.
Right. For my next pick, I am going with the United States champion, Logan Paul.
That's a good
ago,
pick.
You'd have been looked at as a maniac.
Yeah, honestly, even I would say even like his first year. Like I know he had banger match, but I would have been like, absolutely not, bro. There's just no.
No, me too. I would. Yeah, no, I didn't.
No way.
He's proven himself.
Sure has.
Holy vey, I got some work to do here. All right, with my next pick, I am selecting the Creed brothers.
Ooh. So tag team's 1 pick, you said?
Yep.
Cool.
All right. I'm a big tag team wrestling guy, so I might pick. I might have like 6 tag teams on here. Go ahead.
2 guys though. You can split one of them up to be a heel. One could go in a title run.
If I'm doing my GM mode, I'm definitely splitting them up at one point for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, what you got, Juice?
Let's do it again. The phenomenal AJ Styles.
I love it. All right, Freddie.
All right, my next pick is going to be my Legends pick, and I don't think you need to ask who it's going to be. My favorite of all time, The Undertaker.
All right, I was wondering when that was. I thought you were going to go just first with him because you knew
I thought about it, but
oh shoot! All right, I like it. I'm going to go my Forbidden Door pick and pick Okada.
Wow, I can't go wrong there.
All right. Your turn, Juice.
I'm going to go with someone, they do say that wrestling has more than one royal family. Braun Breaker.
Oh, that was a good one. I like that. All right. Bronson Steiner. That's the only thing. If you pick him, you have to change his name back to Steiner. That's my one rule.
I would, okay, but I'm going to call him Break Steiner.
Brick Steiner? That would have been good.
Either Brick,
Brick Steiner. That's what they should have. I like that too. Brick Steiner.
There's plenty of options.
I love it. All right, Freddie, who you got, man?
All right, my next pick, I'm going to go to the women's side, and I know we get 2 for that. Yep. I'm going to pick Mommy, Rhea Ripley, and the Raw, or whatever you want to call her, the World's Women's Champion, Becky Lynch.
All right. I like that one. That's a good one. Okay. All right, for my next pick, I am going man, this is harder than I thought. I am going to go with Sami Zayn.
Not bad. So for the women, you get 2, right?
Yeah, because there's not as many, right? So you're kind of picking. You want that opportunity. Right. So it's all you pick. It's your turn, my friend. We are in. By the way, for everyone just catching up, we are in round number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Round number 7. 5 to go.
This might be 2 sides of the same coin, but let me have Charlotte Flair, and it's Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton.
Good pick.
Those are 2 good ones. I love that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when Charlotte is back on the roster, healed up. I mean, good Lord, she was training her ACL.
Yeah, like 3 weeks. Dude, I don't even train my ACL, and I've never injured mine.
Oh, my God.
I'm in the gym every day like, damn, I don't think my knee could do that.
It's good genes is what it is.
All right, Freddie, what about you, buddy?
All right, for my next pick, I'm going to go with the Apex Predator, the Viper, Randy Orton. He's a legend killer, but
that was a great pick. I honestly thought about that too. That's a great pick.
Yeah, he's got a lot of years left in the tank, and obviously he has his equity already. So,
all right. Well, with that being said, I am going the Cult of Personality.
Good one.
It had to happen.
Punk. I had to there. I had to mix it up. We'll go over all of our picks again too. We'll talk about why we got certain people as well. We'll go into depth here. Juice, back around to you, my friend.
Probably a future world champion. Probably. And I believe they refer to him as him. Carmelo Hayes.
I love that one. Okay, good one. All right, Freddie Fresh.
All right, for my next pick, I am going to go with Jimmy Uso.
My guy is trying to get into the bloodline right now.
Freddie is
trying to get into the bloodline. I love that. I love that. Okay. All right. That's a good one.
You got yeet and no yeet.
Yeah.
That's it. I got both.
He's got I tell you, Fred's got a pretty deep card right here.
Pretty yeet card.
All right. I've picked my legend and I've picked my Forbidden Door. I am going to go with Chad Gable.
Oh, yeah. New heel, Chad Gable.
Yeah, I'm a big Gable guy, man. I of course, love the Olympic wrestlers when they have, they've got charisma. So I'm really excited to see what he does. All right, Juice, back around to you, my man. It is round number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not round number 9.
Round number 9. How many are there? 15?
12.
Oh, 12.
Yep.
How am I talking about?
Well, I got 15 seconds,
right.
So.
Let's go with the guy who I think has proven so much in the last 6 months, and I'm assuming he's going to re-sign Drew McIntyre.
All right. I love that. I'm going to butcher how his name's spelled, but whatever. It be like that.
You capitalize the M and you capitalize the I.
Oh, there's an I. I did Y.
No, McIntyre, but tire is with a Y.
Oh, okay. So I got it backwards.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Freddie?
Let's see. For my next pick, I am going to go with an NXT star, former NXT champion, Ilya Dragunov.
Man, you're really testing my spelling skills right now.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think
I did get it. I got it right that time. All right. With my pick, I'm going to go another tag team. And I'm going to go with A-Town Down Under.
I like that.
That is a good call.
All right, Juice. Back around, man.
I'm still not doing tag teams yet, but I'm going to steal a potential tag team and feud from you, Kevin Owens.
Okay. I love it. That's a great pick. Great pick. All right, Freddie.
All right. I am going with, going to continue the bloodline. I'm going with Solo Sikoa.
You're actually getting Tama with him, so.
I'll take him.
Oh man! Wow.
Yeah, because he's got the rest of the bloodline. I can't let Tama do that.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, all right, that's a good pick. I like that, Freddie. I am gonna go with Ricochet.
Ricochet.
Yeah, I definitely butchered that spelling, but it'd be like that sometime. All right, Juice. 2 more picks, technically.
Yeah. Okay. My first tag team, purely because they're great as singles as well, and then I can come up with a tag team later, like, why not Ospreay and Michaels as a tag team? So I'm going to go with Awesome Truth. I can't believe I'm saying that in 2024.
Wow, I know, right?
What's up?
But damn it,
awesome.
Miz is
that's a good one.
A first ballot Hall of Famer, and R-Truth is somehow still killing it at like 53 years old. So,
all right,
let's do it.
What about you, Freddie?
So I'm going to finally make my Forbidden Door pick, and I am going with Daniel Bryan.
Oh, wow.
So I should have specified this. When you do draft them back, they have to keep their name that they are there. So he's Bryan Danielson.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Which would be wild, because that means in WWE they'd have to somehow change all the merch to Bryan Danielson.
God, I don't want that.
That'd be so funny.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, that's a good one. All right, I am gonna go with El Idolo Andrade.
I like it.
All right, last picks. Juice. This is the last one. Who you picking? You've like I said, you've done your legends, you've done your Forbidden Door. So
I got the women. I got a couple women in there. I got a tag team in there as well.
Yep.
And they say last but not least, but because I need some heel heat, give me some Latino heat. Give me the last Dom Mysterio.
Oh, that's a good one.
I need someone to get booed out of the building every week. So
okay, I do love that. All right, Freddie, last pick.
Well, I'm not going to pick any tag teams because I don't have any tag teams for them to face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with my last pick. Apparently my doppelganger. I'll take it. That's L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you. All right. Well, with that being said, I've got 2 tags. I think I'm going to go. Man. I got to do it. I'm going Shinsuke.
Nice.
Okay. I don't hate that.
All right. For those watching on YouTube, you'll see a screen of all of our picks, and we'll go through them. So with that being said, I'm going to turn the timer off, but now I'm going to give a chance to get some points. So, Juice, you are our new guest. Tell me about your picks and what you think. What are you going to lead with if you had to book your first show? Let's just say you've had your first TV shows. You're going to book a 4-match pay-per-view with your people here to really kick it off.
Can you show me the board real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just so I have a.
We can make that happen.
I guess
I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but.
I mean, I think I know most of them. I just wanted to have them literally in front.
There's the bottoms.
Okay. Freestyles.
This is really, really hard.
KO.
I should have done a better job.
Awesome Truth. And then I think
I should have done a OneNote, Freddie. I should have had like a OneNote with it where I typed it in.
You need the patastrator.
Yeah, I do need the patastrator.
Right on your.
Okay, and then what was my legend? Oh, it was Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, HBK. HB.
Oh, and then I had my last pick was Dom.
Yep.
Okay. So I think if I wanted to do a tag match, I automatically have Awesome Truth versus Dom and Priest.
Okay.
I think that's set up and it's in.
So you're already taking the strap off of Dom or off of Damien. You're taking the strap right off of him, putting it up in a tournament.
Yeah, because if I want to play it that way, I will have him. However he loses the title, he's injured, then he comes back, but the title is at least on the brand.
Okay, love that.
So the semifinals of that tournament would be Shawn Michaels versus Braun Breaker.
Okay.
And then you would get Will Ospreay versus Carmelo Hayes.
Just heaters. Okay.
And then, of course, I would like Shawn Michaels, Will Ospreay, 1-on-1. I don't even know if I could tell you who I would book to win because it's out of my control. I just booked the matches. They control what happens in the ring.
Okay. So far he's got a semifinal match. That's 3 matches plus his main event. So you got one other match that you can intertwine some of your other folks.
The other match would have to be a fatal 4-way for the number 1 contendership.
Love it.
And it would be Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles.
Damn, heaters. Okay. All right, I like where your head's at. What are you calling your pay-per-view? If you could pick a pay-per-view name, what are you calling it?
Let's go with the Juice Jamboree.
Juice Springsteen, ladies and gentlemen. The boss has returned. I love it. All right, that's good stuff. All right, Freddie Fresh. You are now booking Polynesian Pro.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's just is what it is. That's how you picked it. So tell me, what are you doing? What's your pay-per-view? 4 matches and the name, obviously.
All right, so I got to give you 4 matches, right?
Yep.
All right, so we're going to start off hot and heavy. We're doing Rock versus Roman Reigns.
At the main event.
You're
finally getting it. Okay, so your buy rate is high right off the rip. Okay.
We're going to do Undertaker versus LA Knight.
Terrible matchup, but okay.
You think?
I don't know. Undertaker can go with anybody, man. Like I said, I give him a hard time. But the guy can just go with any. I watched Royal Rumble 03 right now. I'm watching 03 back just kind of randomly. I picked it, and he's in the Rumble, right? And I'm like, that dude can just go with anybody in the match.
Oh yeah, that was his return. He had been out since like the fall, and he came back. Everybody thought actually he was going to come back as the Phenom because they had run vignettes prior to that Rumble of like Phenom character. I remember, and then like the last week they did like an American Badass one, and I was like, shit. Okay. And then sure enough he came back.
The big evil.
But I'm glad he did because then a year later at WrestleMania is when he actually came back and I was there. So
let me tell you something. Freddie is undefeated at Undertaker trivia. Terrible at Bob Backlund trivia. Great at Undertaker trivia. All right, I'm sorry.
You say that about Bob Backlund, but I mean he did win the title at that pay-per-view. It's not like
that's not the question. That wasn't the question.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
That wasn't the question. I misunderstood.
The point is the joke. Okay, it is not the point. It's the joke.
Look, when he's the best part of it is when he said it so matter of factly. Like he
was like he didn't even flinch. He was just like Bob Backlund.
The alternate universe was him not winning the title.
Right. I love that.
All
right. So you got Undertaker versus LA Knight. They're semi-main event, right? They're going on before.
Women's match for obviously I'm going to do for the title. Rhea versus Becky Lynch in a WrestleMania rematch.
Love it.
And then for my last match, I am going to do a triple threat between Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso, and the winner gets to face the winner of Rock and Roman for the title.
And there's a lot of bloodline going on, man. I'm telling you, the Polynesian Pro is on fire.
Did you just book next year's WrestleMania season?
I think I may have.
I love that. Okay, so what's your pay-per-view called?
All right, so we're going to call it, it's Polynesian Pro Wrestling presents Bloodline
Extravaganza. Bloodline only.
Bloodline Brawl.
Bloodline Bonanza.
Bloodline. So we got Juice's We've got the.
I like alliteration, so I'm going. It has to be 2 B's. So Bloodline Bonanza.
Yes.
All right, Juice's Slamber. What was it again? Juice's Jamboree.
Yeah.
Juice's Jamboree, the Bloodline Bonanza, and now I'm up. Right. All right. So, I'm booking on top. I'm going Cody versus Punk. In the main event for that for the WWE title. I'm going triple threat tag, A-Town Down Under, Creed Brothers. Oh, I guess I don't have a third tag. I lied. So I'm just going
Bullshit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just going A-Town Down Under versus Creed Brothers for the titles. And I'm going I'm going Okada versus Nakamura versus Andrade for the #1 title, and Ric Flair as the special guest referee, who then interferes and gets the pin, counts himself, and he's the new #1 contender.
Boy.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I'll overbook this. I'll overbook this motherfucker as long as I want. God damn it.
Fucking Vince Russo over here. All right.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I didn't put anything on a poll. Bro. All right, and I'm calling it. Oh damn! I don't know what I'm calling it actually. Maybe there's a lot of creative things I've thought about it. I guess I'm calling. I always love the International Wrestling Grand Prix thing. I always thought that was like so cool, and so maybe that'll be our world title, and we'll just call it Around the Mat Mania. That's what we're calling it, Around the Mat Mania.
I like it.
And Cody's going over, baby. Hey. Hogan had to pose, and Cody's got to cry. Let's rip, baby.
So boy. There it is.
I'm going with it. All right, man, I love it. So with draft, outside of our own deal, guys, what are your thoughts about the WWE draft? Just briefly, Juice, what are you looking forward to? Who do you think is going to be the #1 pick, and kind of overall, what do you think about it?
Well, with the champions being locked in, right, I think that kind of makes the #1 pick less obvious, which is good. That's all we want, right, is unpredictability, especially in this time where, quote-unquote, kayfabe is dead. Yep. Suspension of disbelief is very important, with wrestling fans being, maybe not me, as smart as they can be. So,
yeah.
It's nice to have that, I don't know what's going to happen. And I like that it's right after WrestleMania. It kind of sets up your rest of your year. And if they want to keep it consistent, I hope they keep the talents on Raw, the talents on SmackDown. I don't want to see this convoluted garbage where guys show up on both shows. If you do a draft, stick to it. And also, I mean, I got the draft right here. I'm watching the NFL draft right here.
Yeah.
Give us a presentation.
Yeah.
Bring out, like, have the guy come out, give him a SmackDown shirt. Like, it's little stuff to make it a little bit more real.
Sure.
And if they stick to it and it's successful, then they can do it every year. And that could be another staple that people can look forward to make WWE, much like the NFL, thought about all year round.
Yeah, I get, man, that is a succinct, perfect production answer. I love that. Very good. Who do you think is going to be the first pick?
So with the champions locked, man, I mean, I could see like a Jey Uso. I can see him getting number one. Although I think that would piss off someone like a Drew McIntyre not being number one, so I don't want Drew being number one. I think that plays into his character better. And then same with CM Punk. I'd like to see where he's drafted, considering he's injured, quote unquote, maybe.
Yeah.
So,
okay. All right.
Looking forward to it.
What about you, Freddie Fresh? What are your thoughts, man?
Speaking of Drew being pissed, he would be pissed at us because none of us drafted him.
No. Juice did. He just didn't put him in the pay-per-view.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
Yeah,
he's in the Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah, he was in the 4-way.
PJ, but not you. All right, good.
I wouldn't draft that kilt-wearing effer if they're...
No, I've been loving the work he's been doing, to be honest.
His Twitter's undefeated right now. It's so good.
But he wouldn't be my first, who I think is going to be the first pick. I think the first pick being that Cody is locked in as a champion, who would have been my first pick, but I think now it's going to be who I picked, and that's going to be Roman Reigns. And I'm picking that he's going to Raw.
Was he listed on the thing, on the sheet?
Yes.
Okay, he was. Okay.
He's listed, but I think that'll be interesting because he's been absent since Mania.
Yeah.
So would he show up if he's drafted?
Yeah. Well, they've done it in the past where the guys get drafted and they're not there.
True. Because it would just hinder the potential obvious, like clear babyface turn whenever he comes back.
Right.
And
So I think Roman's going to get drafted to Raw, but we don't know when. And then, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think that's what's going to be. I mean, it'll be interesting, I think, with the NXT involvement, which they have done. I believe they did it in the past one time with NXT. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, I think it'll be interesting to see what comes of that. I mean, I think obviously we know Carmelo, Ilya, it looks, very possible. Braun Breaker's already been called up, but I'm curious to see where he goes. He's on SmackDown, but he really hasn't done much, if anything at all, on SmackDown, really.
Right.
The exception of the initial debut. So I'm curious to see how the NXT guys are infiltrated throughout the show. And I plan on seeing NXT guys get to a good start on the main roster. We've seen a lot of guys over the years, they get from NXT and they were hot as all hell. Yeah. They get to the main roster and they just flounder, right? Some guys are an exception. There's been a few guys that actually did better on the main than they did in NXT. Damian Priest is one of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, Damian was good in NXT.
He was good in NXT.
But he's definitely had a much better run.
Elias was one of them. I mean, that didn't go anywhere, but for a while, right? Yeah. No, anyway, I'm curious to see where the NXT people where they land, how their careers trajectory is.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think the draft. I remember the first one, right? The first one was awesome, and I think that they've tried to do different each year. The problem is that the title thing, you always knew they were going to swap. That was super annoying. So I'm glad that they're not doing that this year, right? Especially with the tag titles being reintroduced and those other ones, and it kind of keeps people. So some of that stuff's going to stay the same, which is really great. I do think I didn't notice that Roman was on the sheet, but I guess I would be willing to bet that they pick the whole bloodline. And then there's dissension amongst those between Roman, Sikoa, Tama, how that works. I doubt they just draft Roman, but we'll see what happens with that. So I'm excited for the whole thing. I think, like you said, Juice, man, that's a great idea with the presentation thing. Would be really fun. Celebrities and different people, and make it a production thing is would be really cool to see where it lands, and not just. And then you're reintroducing new storylines because you're freshening the roster, and we know what's happening on certain things. So. Very interested to see. I do think AJ Styles obviously is going to get drafted to SmackDown because he's fighting in 2 weeks. So or next weekend. So he's obviously
that would make sense.
But,
I just checked. Roman is on the SmackDown list.
Okay.
So
for Friday.
Yeah, so Friday he'll be available to be drafted to either brand.
Okay.
So,
well, I guess we're going to find out.
That's right.
So I'm interested to see. All right, well, the draft, man, that was a fun one. Thank you guys for entertaining it.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to do one thing here. Let me fix this. I apologize. All right.
And you call yourself a host?
I know. That's terrible. But I do have another fun one. This is the randomizer, where I pick a random topic out of my bag that you don't know about before we do it. And this one is, I've been waiting to do this, and I haven't done it yet. I don't think, at least. I can't remember. But I definitely haven't done it with Fred. If Raw and SmackDown were segments only and no wrestling, would you still watch to build for the pay-per-views? Fred, this is aimed
Obviously.
at you.
It'd be my dream come true.
Seriously, though, if every weekly now it wouldn't be 3 hours, obviously, Raw, but you'd probably be. If I'm being honest, it's probably only gonna be an hour of weekly wrestling.
Yeah, that works for me.
And so you're just waiting for the pay-per-views. Tell me why. You can't just say yes.
No, I mean, obviously, I'm half kidding, but for me, like matches during the week, like but I watch more for the story.
I get that. Yeah, that makes
you know,
sense.
And then I want to see how good the story develops, and then by the time we get to the pay-per-view, I want to see the match. There are exceptions to the rule. There are matches on Raws and SmackDowns that are good and feel important, but random matches, and it overexposes everybody. It never used to be like that.
But man, they used to work. You got to think they were working against each other, house shows they were on the road,
house
right?
shows. The TV part of it, nobody
was never. Everything was a squash match except for the main event.
It all started, with WCW with
the cruiserweight stuff.
Nitro with Nitro starting to put on high profile matches. WWE started doing it, and we've been seeing it now for the last almost 30 years. So it overexposes people. It takes away dream matches that should be on pay-per-view. I could see maybe like 1 or 2 matches a week.
Okay.
But,
I get it. That's why I asked. I thought it was an interesting question. We talked about this.
Question.
So I thought that would be a good one. Okay.
I don't know how the longevity of it.
Sure, it's a different. Like I said, that's why a fictional question, but I do.
Right, but it'd be something I'd be
interested in. Okay.
Interested in seeing. Yeah.
All right. What about you, Juice, man? What's your thoughts?
I was gonna say, I don't want to break those rules, but Freddie kind of helped with that by saying maybe not no matches, but 1 or 2, and they don't have to be the craziest matches, but as long as they fit within the storyline, or this is for the number 1 contender, and where you have a title match next week, make the matches mean more, whether that's a 1 or 2 hour show, because like he mentioned again, Freddie did that, with primetime wrestling and
I mean, that's segments. The thing, right? It's back then.
Talking.
Yeah, back then it was a lot of talking. They're talking you in. That's always the thing that Jeff Jarrett says, and I always think that's so interesting. Is back then it was about talking you into the seats, right?
Yeah,
that's what the TV was talking you into the building. Yeah, and so I agree, man. I think for me, I don't know that I would watch. I mean, I was a kid, right, watching when I first started, and that was, super popular, and that was still happening, and so. I definitely have interest, but I don't know that I would be as big a fan if I wasn't going to see. But I do think maybe 1 or 2 matches would be cool, man. If Raw was cut down and you did, you have a squash match where you're showing me the guy's finisher and they wrestle for a couple. That's cool. Of course, look, man, we love bangers. Of course, right? That's why you have alternatives. But if it was just segments every week, I don't think I would watch. I would just wait for the pay-per-views. I don't think I would build because I love the story. But there's no story if there's no physicality or there's no, I don't know.
That's what I was going to say. I think it depends on the segment. I know it defeats the purpose of having a ring, not wrestling in it.
Sure.
But if you have a talk segment
TV
in there.
studio. Yeah, we got late night.
Yeah.
It's late night TV with Triple Paul. And let's bring out our first guest, Seth Rollins. Seth, what do you have to say? That's
why I think we're at where we're at is the talking only didn't work. Wrestling squash matches didn't work. So now they kind of just combine the two. But to Freddie's point, how many of those are insignificant in the big scheme of things? And I know with AEW, we probably have all at one point or another or still have been critical of the rankings coming back and not being there. I think
it's like, why are we not I don't know, man.
If a company, just like the draft, if you stay consistent with what you want to do, that is the only way to make it work. You can't just be like, well, we do it this way, but next, you got to stick with something.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, that's a great question, man. And Freddie, that one was for you, buddy, because we've talked about that a little bit. All right. This next one is our last segment of the day, and it is One Has to Go, where I give you the best of the best, and you got to get rid of one for it to have never existed. And this one is for my man Juice Springsteen. I know how big of a T-shirt collector you are for WCW, so it is the best WCW pay-per-views of all time, and one has to go. So, with that being said, in the top left, we've got 1994 Spring Stampede, featuring Muta versus Austin, Vader versus The Boss, and Ric Flair versus Ricky the Dragon one more time. Then we got in the top right, we've got Bash at the Beach 96, which is famous for the NWO being born. In the bottom left, we've got the Great American Bash 89, which is Funk versus Flair, and it is like the OG Great American Bash, like it is the one that a lot of people talk about. And in the bottom right, it is Halloween Havoc 97, most famously where Macho Man joins the NWO, but also Rey Mysterio takes on Eddie Guerrero in maybe the greatest cruiserweight match of all time. So, one has to go. Which one you getting rid of, Juice?
Oh my God! So you had to do something like this to me, because you're really going to see
I'm a man of the people.
How deep I am in the history of WCW. It's tough. However, you made it slightly easier for me because one of these shows, like, I don't know, the one match on the one show I can deal without, and the other one I can't.
Okay.
So, Great American Bash 89, I think, sadly, has to go.
I knew it.
Because, well, I'll explain. Ric Flair and Funk had their match, but they had a better match at Clash of the Champions 9 New York Knockout the following year.
That's fair. No, yeah. I don't think it was the following year, right? It's like
it was December of 89.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
So there's a better match that happened on that show, right?
Sure.
So I don't have to have that because the other three shows, Halloween Havoc 97, you say greatest cruiserweight title match of all time. It's one of I'd say it's the greatest WCW match of all time.
Definitely up there. For
Bash
sure.
at the Beach 96. If it doesn't happen,
wrestling isn't what it is right now.
What happens? And then Spring Stampede 94. Flair Steamboat, 5 years removed from their trilogy. The greatest street fight between the Nasties and Cactus Jack and Max Payne.
I should have said Rude versus Sting. I forgot about that for the international
Rude and
title.
Sting, which is Rude's last pay-per-view match before he's done forever. And then Vader and the Boss.
He gets hurt.
Yeah, in Japan.
Yeah.
And then Vader and the Boss is a Hoss fight that I can't live without. So
okay. So he's getting rid of
Great American
Bash 89. I love it.
Bash 89. And that being said, that might have Lex Luger's greatest match against Ricky Steamboat on that pay-per-view. So still go out of your way to see it.
He was working. I do love Luger. Man, Luger in the 80s, that early 90s, that was peak Luger run. Everything else I could do without that.
Literally before he went to WWE.
Yeah, he could go. All right, Freddie. I don't know how much you know about these, but what are your thoughts? You got to get rid of one?
Well, yeah, I mean, my knowledge of WCW in the early 90s isn't as great, obviously, as it would become in the mid to late 90s. But I obviously can't get rid of Bash at the Beach 96 or Halloween Havoc 97. So between Spring Stampede in 94 and Great American Bash in 89, that's a tough call.
I love it.
It is a tough call.
Noted fact that Fred said last week as well. His first wrestling was actually WCW.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's why I thought this would be a fun one too, because I know he's on the story.
I'm gonna first wrestling in what way that you ever saw or
that I watched. Yeah, I started out watching WCW for a few months, and then all my friends got me. They're like, "No, you got to watch WWF. You got to watch Raw." So finally I put on Raw, and I never stopped.
Classic Freddie Cuck.
So, God, I hate to pick the same thing as Juice, but I'm going to go with Great American Bash 89. You sold Spring Stampede 94 for me really strong, and I kind of want to watch it now.
Well, what's so funny is I put it on that you kind of have to watch it. It's really I just rewatched it. The reason I rewatched it is because Juice, you were talking about. Well, because it's his last match in America because he gets hurt in Japan with the title, shortly after that, right?
Okay. because I knew he got hurt, and that the whole Lloyd's of London thing and all that, but.
And they were setting up Rude versus Vader at Slamboree 94, which never happened, and Rick Rude would have been a face for the first time in his career, which is annoying that it never got to happen.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, so Juice is having this conversation on Twitter talking about Spring Stampede 94, which is what triggered me to do the best pay-per-views. That's actually how I decided to do it. So, and I rewatched again. Everybody knows I'm a huge Muta fan, so Muta versus Austin is unbelievable. It's really unreal. It's crazy.
Can't believe that those talents were like the amount of guys on the show. It's like
in '94,
they're all Hall of Famers.
Unfortunately, all wrestling business was down in '94. I mean, everybody will tell you, right?
And one last thing, even at Slamboree '94, they do refer to Hulk Hogan.
They talk about it because he's like word on the street, and they do the Mean Gene thing and the word on the street and call the hotline.
Spring Stampede, it's not there yet, so it's the final pay-per-view without any sort of inkling of Hogan.
Which is huge because really then WCW completely changes. They start taping at Disney.
I know.
All the stuff changes and everything's definitely crazy how that all worked out. But yeah, I'm actually gonna get rid of Halloween Havoc 97. And the only reason is I love 80s WCW, NWA, I love it. I think it's amazing. They've got a bunch of willy-nilly tag teams together. There's all types of crazy shit happening at GAB 89. So I am going to get rid of Halloween Havoc 97, even though I do think it is, like I said, maybe a top wrestling match of all time in WCW, a top 5 for sure. I think it's
the best one that WCW ever had. Yeah. I cannot come up with one more that's as good that people that don't watch WCW know about that match.
Sure. Oh, yeah, 1,000%. Yeah. Well, the outfit, right? The WWE still using the Ray.
Seth Rollins. They sold that mask. They sold that mask.
Yeah,
I believe at the store.
Yeah. So definitely a good one. If you haven't watched those, go back and watch those. Those are some of the best WCW pay-per-views, and one has to go. So with that being said, we'll crown a world champion today, and it is the Juice God, Young Juice Springsteen, Juicy Wrestling Closet. Juice, you get 60 seconds to tell us to spit your spiel, man. Do it starting now.
Oh, man, it is an honor. I'm so glad I get to show this. I feel like I'm actually on Around the Mat. This is great, man. I'm so happy that I stood in line when I did at the pop-up. I cannot express how random that is. And for you to have a musical background in Nashville, and I got a buddy that's kind of doing the same thing, man, like living his dream out. Like, I love it. So the fact that we connected and the shirt you're wearing honestly gave me the confidence to say something. And I think you had mentioned my shoes as well. So
yeah, we sneaker guy. I had my sneakers on too. Yeah, man.
Of course. So we had things that we wanted to relate to each other. And when you brought up you had been doing a podcast and you were early in the going, I'm like, look, me too. Like, it's wild. It's a small world.
Small world.
Sure. Crazy to see how those things interact because WrestleMania goes to one city every year, only 40 times, and we happen to be in the same spot, the same day, at the same time.
We're living in a simulation, they tell me.
Appreciate it, man. Around the Mat, baby.
Yeah, definitely. Check out again, man. Listen to the Juice Box. He's got a cool Fall Brawl themed logo. It's really cool. Check it out. Juicy Wrestling Closet on Instagram, on Twitter.
Yep.
He is constantly interacting with humans. We didn't talk about this, but we are at the end, and I'm going to bring this up. I almost said something, but the fact that you interact with JD from NY, I almost had to delete you. I was like, I can't believe anybody interacts with this guy.
That's fair.
We have a running joke in our chat about all the people. So, fun fact about the pod, I started this pod as a joke, not as a joke, but as a thing where I love pro wrestling, but I hate wrestling journalists. And I hate wrestling journalists who are dirt sheet writers. I love wrestling interviews. I love wrestling pods. I love that stuff. But the dirt sheet people and the people who speculate, I hate it.
And I've picked up on that with some of your posts
so much. And so point being, I thought we have a group of a few people in the chat where we're just like, man, how does anybody follow this Twitter guy, or how is so I found it amusing because you are a constant interactor on the internet, which is really great. He's got a ton of interaction with people, and you even had Wrestling for Sale guy on your pod, which is like even crazier. Yeah. So this community is so crazy, but I thought that was funny because I was like, I can't believe this guy follows JD from NY.
Right. Well, and just quickly, I don't want to go on a tangent or anything, but you said journalist. I have a journalism degree, so like I.
Oh, where'd you go to school at?
That's what I went to school for.
Yeah, I was gonna say Freddie Fresh is the same.
I went to a local school here in PA, the California University of Pennsylvania.
Also, that's a huge. First off, it's not just some school. That's a huge school because they've won a lot of national championships in sports, like D2 or D3 sports.
D2,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he has a
D3, yeah.
So you have a degree in journalism as well.
Yes, and I've written some articles before, but when I figured out that would be a little bit difficult to make a living on, I do something else. So that is what it is. But I use that in my way of interacting with people and interacting with wrestling, where I can look at something and have a viewpoint, but that doesn't necessarily mean I won't listen to you.
Right. That's the best part. He's very open-minded. He shares his sentiments. So you guys definitely need to follow. Freddie is the same way, man. Freddie, where'd you go to journalism school at?
So I went to a school. I'm in New Jersey, and I went to school right in my hometown. It's called Kane University, and I went for media and film with a broadcast option.
Yeah, see, man, I picked the perfect. I picked people who are very articulate, which I think has made it easier for me because I don't have to like talk the whole time, right? I get to interact with everybody, so it's been really good.
One other thing is you mentioned JD, and he's a controversial guy, but I look at things personally, and
that's fair.
If someone's nice to me, I'm going to be nice to them. Like I only show the respect that other people.
That makes sense. That's why we get along.
And
that's fair. That's how I look at it. Yeah, with things, you know.
So if people don't like some guy, but he's been nice to me, I'm not going to be.
That's a fair
unlikable
assessment.
to them. I'm going to try to be nice with as many people as
that's
I can.
Fair assessment. Well, that's our spiel, man. Here at Around the Mat. Thank you guys so much for joining us again. If you're watching on Twitch, thank you for joining us this week. If you're watching on YouTube tomorrow, Friday, or whatever day, thank you. Hit that like and subscribe button. If you're watching or listening on Spotify or iTunes, make sure you give us a 5-star or a 1-star. Tell us what your thoughts are, man. We love to interact with people. Again, this is Around the Mat Pod. I am PJ North. We got Juice Springsteen in the bottom left, and in the bottom right, we got the Ticket God Freddie Fresh. Until next time, when we go Around the Mat.